Okie dokie. I don't know if the camera turned off by itself or I turned it off or whatever. It's got a charged battery. Should be filming. So, the story so far, I've put a cut straight across that shoulder there and there. Now I'm pulling the two halves of this apart to see the internals. Alright guys, I've got this far and good news, these seem to be held on by screws that are attached from the inside. So once we get this open we can take them off, easy to cut. And you may or may not be able to see it there. There's one little post there and it's got some melting on it like it's been done with solvent welded. So I've got my little X-Acto hobby knife. Here we go. Snap. Boom boom. Yep. Little solvent welded pin. 4 screws to take those off. That'll make it easy to cut and shape. Welcome back, fellow Nerf sufferers. Now, after the last movie, my next step was to cut the base up to fit the Hyperfire magazine well in. And when I did that, it fell apart. No way to safely do it, unfortunately. It's just there's not enough contact points for the thing to hold together while allowing that to slip in. So I've had to rethink, and luckily I'm getting reasonably good at this 3D printing, and my 3D printer is working well. Morning, fellow Nerf sufferers. Back again. Now, the first bit of this video, you might have seen all the no it's nots and no it doesn'ts. That's because when I actually cut the base up, cut the butt area up to do this, it basically fell apart. There's just not enough attachment points for anything to work together. So I had this grandiose plan, and I even filmed a movie on it, how I was going to build a new base and construct it and all that, and had this drawing and filled it out. It looked really great, but in the end it was, I didn't even understand it. So what I've decided to do is, now I still want to use the Hyperfire drive. I might have to remount the motor from there to down here or something, depending. That's way in the future yet. First thing I decided to do is I'm going to discard this, the rear connection, because I need space for this. This needs to sit up here, so I'll have to redraw. I'm going to 3D print the entire rear section. So I started out with simple shapes. So like I just roughly drew a shape that fitted in there and adjusted each angle as I did each print. It took about 5 or 6 times to get up to that stage, then I was coming across there. And this was when I was simply going to build on this, and this is going to be inside supporting it. It's going to be the substructure, and it's just going to be detail. That plan went out the window when I realised it was a lot easier, when you think about it, to actually build the entire thing out of one piece. So I started off with whatever I had lying around and did a piece, see if it fit. Just by taking rough measurements off that, I printed a piece out of some scrap, some old PVA Plus I had, and it's slightly out. You can see it's a bit twisted. So got some more. Some of them turned out more or less better or worse, depending. I was having all sorts of problems with my printer at the time. Finally got reasonably the shape, got it fit, but the thumb hole a little bit too small, so I had to expand it a bit more. Finally I come up with something like this. This one was a failed print. I've been, as I said, been having a lot of problems, but finally got there and got a print, got everything to fit the angles I wanted. Had to raise that line, pull that line in a bit, but it was still a bit too tight, so I had to redraw that area. But I took out this section so that fits in there. So I've got that a bit further forward, so I've reduced my butt length, which I think is a good thing. Now it eventually got to the stage where I came up, where I had to print it in multiple parts, but I got this. So this fits in there like that. Had to print it in multiple parts simply because it's so long. Right, so they sit there. My Hyperfine magazine goes in here. As you can see, it's pretty tight fit, but it gets there. So that goes down, that moves down. Pinhole fits in there just to get everything aligned. But as you can see, I've got a lot of space at the bottom, so not an issue. I can do things with that. Now, once this is actually done, once it's actually printed a solid piece, this wall here and this wall here, they'll be moved apart slightly, so it'll make it easy for that to get in, and we avoid this pitching up you can see happening as you try to force it in. It's starting to catch and cause all sorts of issues. So that part is done. So I know the proportions of my buttstock, and I can actually bring my buttstock in here and just twist it around the end just there. Right, so to explain a bit clearer, right, so the plan is now that I've got the frame made, I make that all in one piece, and the basic shape is going to go, I might take it up here a bit, put some detailing in, come across here, and if I decide to use this and build it in there, it's not a bad match actually. It'll fit just under there, and that will dispense with a lot of this. So I'll come down there, something like that. I might cut it, change the shape, turn it upside down, or whatever. Print a completely new one. What I'll need to do is make sure it comes past the end of this. This I can cut off a bit more there, which is great. So that'll go straight up, and I've got my buttstock there. And what happens at the top, what I've done, I've printed this shape. I don't know if you can see it. It's a top piece that clips on over the Picatinny rail. And I'm currently printing a complete piece 200mm long, which I will use by putting about there and coming across here, and that will help me work out what's happening here, which it looks like it's going to have to go up, which is easy. I can just put a little sort of modern day compound U-butte good looking shape in that they do these days, and I'll have to obviously incorporate an access there just to worry about jams and that, and I also have to allow for the conveyor belt which sits across there. So shouldn't be too much of a problem. I've been designing pieces to fit in there, front covers, piece to go under there. I even did design the muzzle, what do you call it, the locking ring that goes onto the muzzle. A little bit tight, that one, but it works. But refining it down, I've managed to print this, and that goes on like, how's it go, like that. So, and this is where I found my printer had lots of problems. You can see lots of spacings there. I'm not sure what it was. I don't know if it was heat or the filament was getting caught. It's very odd. I've got to do some research into that, but that's my problem. I will sort that out. The funny thing, after having printed that, that was going to go on the front. I actually really didn't like the look of it. So, you know, 4 hours there down the drain. But anyway, so that's where I am at the moment. I am also very slow at the moment because of the injury I sustained, so I will be going very slow, step by step, and not rushing this, because I've got to incorporate this within a 3D part, so I don't want to spend all the time printing the 3D part and then it's fundamentally wrong and that doesn't fit. That would be really annoying. So I'm going to take the time, and I'll get back to you when I get back to you. I was trying to do one of these movies every week. It worked on the last one, but this time, because of everything that's happened, it's just slowed me right down. So I'm not sure when. I've got the next featured fan builds coming up in about a week and a half, so I've got to get that organised too. So probably in 2 weeks you'll see another one after this. I'll try and get this uploaded today. Okay, thanks guys, I'll see you again soon.